Thank you for staying with us. This is The Choice on Ekwa Television International. Coalition is still going on, and then some political parties are coming together, forming an alliance, in disagreement with the results that are coming so far. And I have Joyce Jakada and then Sele Lesha still in the studio. With what is going on, and then the calls so far we have received, text messages and the rest. Do you see, the political parties now agreeing with our callers?
Well, maybe they are, or possibly they are, because it's already, this is something that is obvious. It's open, like it's not something that is done in the secret. And of course, when you see things that are not going as it should be going, definitely there will be a need for all of these political parties to actually come out, form an alliance, give us press conference and let us know where they stand. Initially, it was just looking as if it was just Obasanjo that was against this whole process, saying that it's not transparent, saying that there are a lot of things that are not moving as it should be going. But then we can see that definitely there is a need for, if you feel that something is not going as it should be, then definitely there should be called to order. We could recall that last year, precisely 18th of December, it was on the papers that INEC, actually budgeted 176,000, 117 billion naira for, anti-hacking software and others. Definitely, so it's expected that when there is a problem somewhere, then this money is supposed to have actually be able to track where the problem is, because they said it's not going to be possible for people to interfere with the beavers. That they told us that they are very good, the server, because that is where we upload the result. They said that nobody will be able to, hack it, nobody will be able to do anything. In fact, if you hack it, you'll be able to trace where you're doing it. So that is that we have an intelligence. We are sure that we relied on INEC that they have an intelligence that will be able to work with that. So, but the way things are moving, we saw from yesterday what Milai is saying. There was no projection of electronic transmission of results. The beavers, the server, and then we saw that results were being, announced manually. Definitely, something is just not adding up somewhere. So wherever that thing is, we need to actually, be able to trace where is the problem, and we should be able to, bring the body together and see that if something is not working as it should, then we should be able to trace what the problem is. Earlier on, we said that there's nothing wrong in INEC coming out to tell us that things are not really the way we anticipated it to be. Something is wrong somewhere. If this technological problem or tech problem, then they should be able to say, yes, we've admitted that. We told you guys we were ready, but obviously things didn't go as we have wanted it to go. So can you give us some time? But people are asking questions, what is now the implication if this coalition is put on hold presently? What is the implication of some of these parties, agents that walked out of the coalition center yesterday? All of these are questions that we are not just asking questions, but we need the right answers to all of these questions. Because I said this over and over again, this money that was given to INEC, these are taxpayers' money. And so you should give us account of what you did with our money. We cannot just give money to a body and then at the end of the day we don't see things as we want. Definitely, we would definitely ask you. We are the employers. You are employees, so we definitely ask you to tell us what it is. I remember when I said maybe before we start having selection and election of leaders, we start having a town hall meeting to ask you sensible questions, and if you don't do what is expected, we call you back home. But we are not here to say that the bodies are not doing what they expected, but definitely these political parties have the right to actually ask questions and to get the right answers from INEC. So as it is right now, the whole world observers, everybody's Nigerians are on INEC to give us the right answer. We made observation from the body language of the INEC chairman, and we said, you are a leader. It's expected that no matter how pushed you are, you should maintain calmness in the midst of all of this. That is the only way you'll be able to address questions. When an agent asks you a question, you don't shut him down, but you listen and take correction where they need to be. Of course, you told us that.
But I think he has been calm.
You get
all this while he has been million Nigerians, on him. The globe is watching, and he's dealing with politicians, dealing with international observers, dealing with what went wrong, from
So the weight is
from even the pulling some disappointment in his face, coming even from state level to local government, and then in my polling unit, then that kind of a polling unit result should be addressed even in a ward level, in a local government level. But now so disappointed, but he cannot show it.
No, I really, really applaud his calmness for all this period of time. I've really seen him exhibiting patient calmness in the midst of this. Just like this, we don't keep having all of these things called, international bodies. So it's really not right. And I keep saying I am not blaming INEC, but I'm just trying to make all of this observation because we are having a gubernatorial election and we should for a fresh conduct of this election. Definitely, they are not happy. It looks as if things are not moving as it should. And when you do things, we always say that integrity should be at the heart of this. We should be transparent. That will be the only way that parties, Nigerians will trust you with a mandate next time. So I just hope that all of this is not to say the body is not doing well, because we've seen hitches not just from INEC but other commission. Then you tell that there's a problem somewhere, but they should be able to take note all of this. We should not be having the same problem ever since we started conducting election in this country. Over and over we're saying the same thing. It shows that there is no growth whatsoever. So I hope that we'll be able to take all of this into cognizance and see that we do the relevant checkup where we need. We should address the problems where they are. If it is a technical issue, let us get good expert to be able to address all of this thing. And then it's a matter of time. We'll still maintain, and we still maintain that name, Giant of Africa. So I hope that we'll take all of these notes seriously.
Joyce, looking at political parties, right? I'm just looking at it from the angle. So in this country, political parties can come together and agree on something. If that's the case, why didn't they just agree and said from the onset and said this person should just lead us because he have the capacity, he has the capability, he have the track record, and the rest, just lead us. It is now that they are coming together to disagree and to call for the step down of the result to the result, review them, cancelling political polling units that fraud went, and then whether people that were not allowed to vote, allow them to vote so that you will not disenfranchise them, and then look at some areas that you feel it is okay, and then you okay it, and then we'll go, and then everybody is happy. Now coming together political parties, we see presidents having vice presidential candidate having press briefing. We saw chairman political parties coming together, like the Labour Party, PDP, ADC, coming together to have a press conference. We saw even the...
All right, let me start with your first question that says, we are seeing political alliance among different political parties. Even with some of the callers that called to express concern earlier on, you will recall that some of them are saying they have lost confidence in the process, and some are saying INEC should do the needful to uphold its integrity. Like, this is the time where nobody is saying no. APC, you're at fault. PDP, you're at fault. Labour Party, it is your fault. But all eyes are on it. Comment we have seen. So this evening now, we are seeing alliance between PDP, the Labour Party, ADC, NMPP2 have made statement. What are they saying? The National Publicity Secretary of PDP, talking about Debo Ologunagba, at a press conference earlier today, said that they are not calling for total cancellation of the results that is being announced. They want a situation whereby a screen can be displaying the accreditation of voters that was taken by Beavers. And not just that, they want to also see the result viewing portal. You will recall that INEC, even before the election, assured Nigerians that, see, they're saying is contrary to the assurance that came from INEC earlier on. No wonder questions are beginning to rise. And apart from that, there are some irregularities, again, in some of the results that came in. For some people that have facts and figures, using Ekiti, for example, you saw how Dino Melayi presented some of the figures that came in, and it was contrary to contradict itself. And no wonder INEC chairman say when they come, they should clear with the secretariat so that we don't have such discrepancies. But what is PDP asking for? They are saying that INEC coalition officials should stop announcing results at National Coalition Center in Abuja, and which are yet to be uploaded via the BVAS, that it has to stop. That's what they are insisting. When you go back to Labour Party, what are they saying? They said they have lost confidence on INEC with the results so far announced. And that's what was said through their DG also in a press conference. And they call for suspension of the announcement of the results and cancel the entire election process because it does not adhere to the tenets of free and fair election, which INEC and also the president promised Nigerians. Because so far as they are concerned, what they are seeing is not the true reflection of what resilient Nigerians came out to do. Because more than ever before, in fact, one of the spokesperson of the presidential campaign team of Labour Party said that since 1983, he likened this election to 1983, where people, we've not had people turn out like that. And Nigerians were resilient, determined to protect their future, and they turn out. But what they are seeing is not the reflection of the turnout, because when you look at the numbers being presented, as far as they are concerned, does not reflect the resilience of Nigerians. And they are asking INEC to conduct fresh, free, fair election that adhere to electoral laws. Now, the NNPP are also saying that there's no confidence. They don't have confidence as well in the whole process. And they said what they are seeing is systematic rigging. This is something that has been done even before now. So they said the process lacks legitimacy, it lacks integrity. Now, you talked about alliance. When you are fighting the same cause, it's so easy to see people come together. Now, before the elections, one will have imagined that, I've seen where people even merge some of these candidates, that imagine you have Peter Obi and Tambuwal. There's a way they did the merging. But of course, everyone has reasons to why he's coming out. For somebody, I'm coming out to serve. For somebody, I want to come and acquire. For someone, and other people are saying, I've been in this game for a long time. You're just coming in. You cannot head me. You get different reasons, but because they did not agree, everybody went to his own party. Some are feeling, you are going against the party's evil ideology and all of that. So because of such reasons, people are on their own, decide to go vie for the same position in different political party. But earlier on, I even saw a picture where they are sitting together. In fact, the chairman of this various political party, Labour Party, PDP, ADC, are making presentation. But we will not stop there. APC also came out to make a statement, and they said PDP, Labour Party are only trying to scuttle democracy through the courts. And then the spokesperson, Festus Keyamo, quoted Section 84 of the Electoral Act and saying it prohibits injunction, which is injunction of the process. And he said that's what Labour Party and PDP are trying to do. And if you go back to what Labour Party and PDP are saying as well, they are not just talking just like that. They are also quoting the Electoral Act, quoting Section 64 and 65 of the Electoral Act that provides for the transparency of even the data you get. So why are all these people coming together? There is a common fight. And then you recall that our guest earlier on said he has a candidate that is supporting, but if he's going to lose the election transparently, if this election is transparent, even if his candidate loses the election, he knows that yes, because it won't depend on just you to just for your candidate to just emerge winner, because there are some processes. There's constitution to how all these things processes to follow. So you must have at least 25% of votes from all the 36 states, including the FCT and all of that. So these are some of the requirements. An individual cannot just say, oh, in my local government, we all voted for a candidate from a particular political party. So I'm expecting that when INEC chairman is announcing results, is going to announce your candidate. No, there are steps, there are processes to all of these things. So what are we saying in all of this? These different political parties, right now as we speak, PDP, Labour Party, and ADC are together. In fact, they've made press statements, which we will watch very soon. And all what they are saying that the process is not transparent, it has been compromised. Recall a stakeholder talking about former President Olusegun Obasanjo also talked about the fact that the president needs to intervene because whatever results that have been collated in Abuja are not really the reflection of what Nigerians actually came out to vote. So it is very important. So everybody has the right to observe. All the agents that went there, we watch how Dino Melayi said yesterday that he cannot stay at the center and endorse fraud because for him it is not tallying. So if you want us to believe in the system, can you be transparent enough with it so that Nigerians can say, oh yes, like honorably we lost, honorably we won. You get some people, even when they know, yes, a particular political party won in a particular state, and they said, see, we know that in that particular state, this election was rigged. But even with the fact that it was rigged because they have their data collated from their agents, they still emerged the winner. But they say one of the agents was saying, okay, can you please unrig this election so that we can see the merging? Because even with the rigging, we still emerge. So all what you're asking, okay, what our callers were saying earlier on and what the political parties are saying. If you ask me now, all eyes are on INEC. People just want to see their integrity being brought to fore. People want to hold INEC by its word. No wonder now political party agents are referring back to statements made by INEC chairman earlier on, assuring of the transparency, the accountability of the whole process. So this is what Nigerians are asking for, and we are saying that it is so important. I like the fact that the INEC chairman, you know, we always give it to them because of how, like this is the first time we're going, we're using the beavers. So I know that for when people want to develop, like you want to grow, there are hurdles that you can face. But we're saying for this election that is really consequential, like this is an election that is historic as far as I'm concerned. Like I told you that Nigerians have made statements already, because even in states where you don't expect a particular candidate to win, like we've seen that like certain candidates flaws like those states where they are not even like coming from, and then you see a candidate that is from a particular state not winning that state. Statement has been made. So we give it to INEC because in some instances we see how that an Okada rider in Kaduna State won the election. House of Representatives. So some people are of the opinion this person did not even spend money campaigning and all of that, but the voice of the people at least counted at the end of the day. So we want to see transparency. Results are still being collated, but all Nigerians and even this political party are asking for, which is not out of place if you ask me, is that for the whole process to be transparent. So like we kept maintaining, gather your facts. We have seen people doing that already. Dino Melayi, who is also standing as an agent of one of the political party, has come up with facts which are he presented before INEC and then other political parties. And I think it would be good if we watch some of these press releases.
Yes, that's why I was like, okay, you will continue from your line of thought, but I feel you have done justice to that question that I threw to you. But I feel, you know, we viewers would like to watch and then see the reaction of these people. Let's just watch and then we'll come back and we'll continue the analysis.
World Press Conference addressed by the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, and African Democratic Congress, delivered on Tuesday, February 28th, 2023 at Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Fellow Nigerians, members of the press, executives, and members of the press, all other protocols observed. Background. We thank you, members of the press, for honoring this invitation in spite of the short notice. Nigeria held its general election on Saturday, February 28, 2023, and this press conference is to address the urgent and important issues arising from that exercise, which was for the election of President, Vice President, and National Assembly members. The exercise carried out by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is still underway as we hold this conference. Collation is still ongoing in some parts of the country. We monitored with dismay the travesty to democracy that was exhibited at the National Collation Center of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. It is, to say the least, a raid on democracy. The conduct of the February 25th, 2023 election has been marred by widespread violence, rigging, intimidation of voters, doctoring of results, and violation of the laid-down electoral process, which was communicated by the National Electoral Body, INEC. INEC has announced a process which will require the use of bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS, for the accreditation and voting, and that all election results would be electronically transmitted from polling units to INEC servers. The above process, published, repeatedly announced, and agreed with INEC by all political parties, was not followed, thereby leaving room for manipulation of results after Nigerians had voted. The result announced by INEC so far shows monumental disparities between the actual results reported by our party agents, our party members, and indeed millions of Nigerians on election day from the polling units. We have also listened to the arguments made by collation officers of the different political parties. The crux of the matter is the deliberate refusal of the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, as the national returning officer for the presidential election, to respond to the demand of political parties for the commission to respect the pre-existing regulations that results of this election shall be uploaded on INEC server through the bimodal voter accreditation system technology. The refusal of INEC to comply with the laid down, published, and agreed process for the conduct of the election has compromised the integrity and credibility of the entire presidential election. We also note that February 25th, 2023, the day of the election, millions of Nigerians were left in utter doubt and disappointment at polling units as INEC officials across the country refused to electronically transmit the results to INEC server as was expected by all stakeholders in this election. In cases where they tried to upload the results, INEC officials assigned to polling units could not do so. In some cases, they revealed that they had directives from their superiors not to upload the results. In some cases, they said that the password for them to access INEC servers had been changed. We also recall that the initial explanation by INEC for the delay was on account of glitches on the INEC servers. Neither did INEC explain to the nation what the nature of these glitches were, nor did the commission avail the country or even agents at the polling units that it will not be uploading the results generated at the polling unit to the server when it resolves those glitches. We are therefore constrained on this development to state that INEC compromised the integrity of this election even before the collation began at the PUs. I repeat, we are therefore constrained on this development to state that INEC compromised the integrity of the election even before the collation began at the polling units. Section 16, subsection 5 of the Electoral Act states that the presiding officer shall transfer the results, including total number of accredited voters and the result of the ballot, in a manner as prescribed by the Commission. The failure to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act and the guidelines makes it imperative that all results recently uploaded to the IREF portal be audited before they are announced. It was on the strength of this provision in our Electoral Act that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, introduced BVAS, the BVAS technology, to the country. The expectation of the majority of Nigerians was that INEC was going to conduct the 2023 election in compliance with both the Electoral Act and its own guidelines. Unfortunately, INEC recapitulated on that promise and conducted the election with the usual crude standards that predates the introduction of BVAS machine. This election is not free and far from being fair or transparent. I repeat, this election is not free and far from being fair or transparent. There is ongoing extensive cancellation of results all over the country, especially in the areas of strength of opposition parties, to show up the numbers of the ruling APC. The total number of cancellations to date nationwide has, in any event, rendered the elections inconclusive. We have therefore arrived at the conclusion that the presidential election of Saturday, February 25, 2023, conducted by Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, under the leadership of Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has been irretrievably compromised, and we have totally lost faith in the entire process. The People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, ADC, and all other allied parties shall not be part of the process currently going on at the National Collation Center. And we demand that this sham of an election should be immediately cancelled. We also call for a fresh election. We also call for a fresh election to be carried out within the window allowed by the Electoral Act and in accordance with the laid down INEC procedure for the conduct of the 2023 general election. We similarly call on the international community to note that the results being declared at the National Collation Center have been heavily doctored and manipulated and do not reflect the wishes and aspirations of Nigerians expressed at the polls on February 25th, 2023. We also wish to declare a vote of no confidence on the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, by his conduct and reaction to the complaints of the enfranchised political parties. We believe that he lacks the integrity and moral standing to continue to oversee the process to a conclusion. We are therefore calling for Professor Mahmood Yakubu to step aside from his role as INEC chairman and for a credible personality from outside the commission to take his place and see this process to a conclusion that will be acceptable to all stakeholders and will restore the confidence of the international community in the democratic process and institutions. We have a responsibility to the millions of Nigerians who put their faith in our parties and our presidential candidates to defend our country from the forces that seek to tear us apart. We are calling on President Muhammadu Buhari, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to stand by his promise to Nigerians to bequeath a legacy of free, fair, transparent, and credible elections to the country. President Muhammadu Buhari, this is a time of great tests of your integrity. To use your office to save Nigeria from this electoral mismanagement and save your legacy from the forces that seek to mar your democratic credentials. We are calling on Nigerians to continue to believe in the promise of Nigeria, to join us in defending the integrity of our country and defend our democracy. Thank you, and God bless you.
I want to play a 1-minute video, but you listen to the voice so that you, the media here, can juxtapose what Mahmoud Yakubu said in November last year and what he's doing in February.
On this note, let me seize this opportunity to respond to a story emanating from a section of the media that the Commission has decided to jettison the uploading of polling unit level results in real time on election day. It should please be disregarded as fake news. The Commission will upload polling unit level results, and citizens will have access to those results in real time as we upload to the polling units. This innovation was introduced by the Commission. The Commission cannot turn around and undermine itself. So this technology has come to stay. We'll upload polling unit level results from the polling unit. Citizens will have the right to view these results. After all, who are we serving? The citizens. How can we deprive citizens from access to the results of the process conducted by them at the level of polling units? So I welcome you to the Commission. I want to assure you and reassure you that the 2023 general election is going to be our best ever elections. We are committed, and that the votes cast by Nigerians will determine the outcome of elections. Nothing more, nothing less.
If you look at the results from Bauchi and Gombe, they are exactly the same results. Bauchi APC has 146,977. Gombe, 2 different states. APC have also 146,977. PDP in Bauchi has 319,123. PDP in Gombe has 319,123. Labour Party has 26,000 in Bauchi. They have 26,160. In Gombe, they also have 26,160. It is very clear that these results were allocated, deliberately allocated, and funny enough, this type of mischief, they didn't do it good enough, and you can see how 2 separate states far away, the party scores exactly the same numbers in the elections. We are challenging the very process because it fundamentally violates not just the law, but the electoral procedures which are derived from the Electoral Act, which INEC presented to all of Nigeria, and by the Electoral Act is compulsory that these results have to be uploaded from the polling units. INEC has largely violated these things, and it is not a question of waiting until we challenge it in court, because the same Electoral Act provides for us to challenge these results right from the time they are being presented to the public. And INEC has the responsibility of reviewing them and therefore correcting the things we are challenging. And secondly, it is such a wide-scale violation. The malpractices are on a very, very grand scale. And it is important that we bring the attention of not just the Nigerian community, but also of the international community to these gross violations. And that is why we are doing this at this very time. That in no way stops us from going further to challenge them in the court if they decide not to heed to our call for a comprehensive review. We still have a window ultimately to challenge it in court, because definitely this is not a credible election, and it's not acceptable after 20-something years of our democracy to have this type of retrogressive step which Professor Yakubu has taken Nigeria. It is dangerous, and we have to take necessary steps, because we don't also want Nigerians to erupt into taking the law in their hands. We, the representatives of the people whom they have voted for our parties, will have a responsibility to do something. Thank you. I will allow the one on the issue of waiting for a review from Dr. Leon of Tribune has been answered by Senator Dino. So I will allow my Labour Party colleague to take that one up from Amaka from Arise.
We all know that if all is well, there will be no need for all of this. We're not doing this because we don't have what to do. We don't have other things, other expectations per se, differently from this. We're hopeful that at this stage, some of the wrongs can be corrected in the ways that we have suggested, or in some other ways which they feel can bring sanity to the situation as it is. So most importantly here is the fact that the level of rigging that is coming out is widespread. And the process allows that where such happens, results should be cancelled. We're not asking for anything outside the law or anything extraordinary. And where these riggings are such, as the widespread nature of the rigging is enough to affect the outcome of the elections, then the best thing is to follow what we're saying for the country to be able to move forward. Thank you.
Well, in addition to what the PDP chairman has said, the damage that has been done to the election conducted on Saturday is not what you can correct. The provisions of the law and the electoral guidelines are clear that you upload results when they are announced at the polling unit. And it is perhaps of importance to take you back to remind you that the numerous challenges we have had so far is because the processes leading to our election and our electoral process has been marred with irregularities and therefore produces very bad leadership. And it is because of this that people decided that to correct this process, it will be of importance to be able to transmit these election results directly from the polling unit, because elections are known to be manipulated after you leave the polling unit. And therefore, the process can no longer be corrected because those elections are already manipulated, wide-scale manipulation. As we speak now, elections are still being manipulated. Today, in Bayelsa, in Rivers, in Imo, name them, in Nasarawa, election results are still being collected and taken to government houses for manipulation. So it's an incurable process that you cannot correct. Where do you start from? Is it the results that have been manipulated that you can correct? So the best thing to be done is for us to repeat the process. After all, if you send your child to school and the child fails, he repeats the class. So INEC should repeat the class since they have failed their exams, because this is a major test from INEC. And we had expected that the process would be done in line with the electoral process. And so since they have failed, it is incorrectable, and therefore the process should be repeated.
Those who are bellyaching all around, issuing threats that if they do not win, there will be fire and brimstone and all that. I ask you, how many of them were in the barricades fighting for this democracy? They were not there. So they do not appreciate democracy. They do not understand the dynamics and nuances and the convention of democracy. So they have no stake in this democracy. That's why they can say there will be fire and brimstone. In fact, some obedience have been calling for the return of the military if they are not declared the winner of this election. And that is very, very sad. That will show